I'm brand new to drum and bass, and today I'm chopping my first breakbeat. Stay with me. Welcome back to the 5 Loft, where the process is the story. I'm Al Clark. Drum and bass, specifically atmospheric drum and bass. It's also listed as atmospheric jungle or the less popular intelligent drum and bass. These are all names of that style from the mid-90s, coming mainly from London, that combines beautiful, long, lush pad sounds from the samplers and synths of the day with big subby basses and of course breakbeats. Just do a search on good-looking records and you'll find a whole era of music that has a huge catalog. And here's the deal. I am no expert in this. I'm just sort of sharing my process of discovery in something that I frankly missed in the 90s. Through my research, I found guys like Groovin' in G, Stranger, Thought Forms, and of course the brilliant Tim Kant. These guys are giving master classes in this style and have really detailed videos on not only the history but the how-to of this genre. For me, I'm just having fun. So let's take a look at how I chopped my first breakbeat. Okay, so where do you get breakbeats from? Well, for me, I sold my turntable years ago, so I'm not sampling from vinyl. For me, it's about finding them online. And there's a lot of YouTube videos that are suggesting that because YouTube is a lossy format, you don't want to necessarily sample right from YouTube, because there's tons of videos. If you just search like Amen Break on YouTube, you'll find a ton of videos on that. I think probably for educational purposes, for your own sort of musical training, that's fine. But if you want to start to make some serious tracks, you're going to have to download the WAV files. I have found a place that, again, was suggested through these guys called rhythmlab.com. They offer individualized breakbeats that you can download for free, and they have a warning, hey, it might have a copyright strike on it or whatever. And then they also sell sample packs on CD, for download. They're not CDs, but they offer these sample packs that you can purchase. You can also search for sample CDs. So if you just search Zero G was the name of the company in the 90s, Zero G Jungle Warfare. Just search that, Zero G Jungle Warfare. You'll get, within the first 3 or 4 hits, a download link that you could download all 3 of those volumes for free. That's a way to get breakbeats and other sampled sounds that these folks were using back in the 90s. For me, I'm going to be using James Brown's Cold Sweat. So let's take a look at how to do this. I just want to emphasize that there are many ways to chop breakbeats. This is just a way that I kind of pulled from a bunch of different videos. A bunch of folks were suggesting this. I think Tim Kant has a really clear explanation of this buried inside of one of his videos. And I just wanted to sort of pull out this particular method and pointing out that this is sort of the best for a beginner, because it gives you a chance to really see what's going on as you go to rearrange or resequence these breakbeats. So how do you do this? First thing, take a drum rack, drag it over to the track. I'm using the push 3 to trigger these samples. Now, next up, what we want to do is go get our sample, right? So I'm going to go down to my user library. I have downloaded the Jungle Warfare CDs from that site. I don't even remember what it's called, but again, just Google it. It's right there, or search for it. I'm using Scotty 162, which is James Brown's Cold Sweat. Here's what you do. You don't drag it up to a track. You drag that into the drum rack. And what that does is it triggers the sample off of that. You can also trigger it directly off of the drum rack using the mouse. Now, notice when I hit that, it played it all the way through. what we want to do is, first thing, we want to bring it to gate. What that does is, and I release it and the sample stops. First things first. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to copy instances of this break over to different pads, and then we're going to set the start of the sample to different times to create, in a sense, our instruments or our drum kit. So let's rename this first one. That's Command R, and we'll rename this kick. Okay, because that's our kick. Now, what we'll do is Option, drag it over to the next one. That's copy and paste. Command R, and we'll name this snare. Okay, and now hitting that second pad will bring the start of the sample over to the particular snare that we want. Now I can zoom in to make sure that I'm right on the hit. Beautiful. Now, here's the deal. Which hits you choose, how you break this thing up, well, that's the art of this, right? That's the time it takes. So really, if you want to get good at this, or if you want to be, not have the sort of frustration of it not working, you kind of have to hit it every day. That's what I've been doing. Trying to hit it every day and figuring out how it is that these guys were doing this on the samplers in the day. So, kick, snare. Beautiful. All right, let's do another one. Option, drag. Whoop, what happened? Command Z. Option, drag. There we go. And Command R, and let's rename this shuffle. Okay, and what we'll do is on the shuffle, we'll bring it back to here, right in here, and let's do one more. Let's Option, drag. Let's rename it, and we'll call this reverse. Watch this. This is right click and reverse sample. Oh, beautiful. And now what we'll do is we'll go find this guy right here. And we can just bring that slice, we can bring that gain down a little bit. Okay, now, what do you do from here? Well, let's create a MIDI track. Come over to my track, double click to create a 1-bar MIDI track, and you can see over here on the left-hand side, I have all the instruments or the drum kit that I just created with the start times at different times. So here's my kick on the 1, and then my snare is on, not the shuffle, snare on the 2, and the snare is also on the 4, and we'll put the kick on the and. So we'll create this like two-step pattern that sounds like this. Boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, tap, boom, tap. That's kind of the pulse of drum and bass. Whereas in house music, the pulse is 4 on the floor, right? And then the offbeat, so you get that boots and cats, that kind of thing. This is boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba, boom, ba. That's the pulse. Now, watch what happens. If I just simply drag these samples out, these notes essentially out to fill in the gaps of this 1 bar, what do we got? Oh, genius, right? Again, this is not me. This is beautiful though. So now you can start to play with this. So, well, let's do bump, 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 right? So I'm going to come here, get rid of that guy, and we'll put a kick here. And let's put a kick here. And let's shorten this up here and put like another kick here. Okay, fine. How about this? Let's put the reverse thing here right before the one of the next bar. Oh. Beautiful. Okay, let's shorten up this guy here and put the shuffle in instead. We can shorten this up and put the shuffle even shorter. It's endless, right? And it's all sort of right there in front of you. You're not dealing with the waveforms, you're not dealing with slicing to MIDI and all that stuff. It's all right here for you. Oh, okay, so let's go over and take a look at a drum rack that I already have built up here. We'll start with this first one, and we'll hear this first. And I added a little tambourine loop on top. Okay, second variation, I doubled up the kick. Everything else is the same. Third variation, I added some space to it. Different feel. And then finally the fourth variation, a lot more feel, a lot more space in it. Now, all together, we've got the suggestion is that you create longer sequences and more variation, because again, drum and bass, you're concentrating on creating an interesting drum track. Some of these things are 32 bars long without a repeat, where in house music you can sort of get away with just a couple of variations every 8 bars. Here, you want to do something that is sort of extended out over time. Let me add some pads here. Here we go. Now these were pads that I created because I'm really digging into sound design. So if you're interested in learning how I did these pads, leave a comment below. Let's take a look at this pad here. It's just simple, C to D. Let's add the bass, and this is a bass sound that I created as well. Big subby basses. I also did a guitar track here. Let's add that. Hold please. Gotta add guitar, right? And I also did a string patch. Stuff. I'm using Valhalla Supermassive as a reverb, free plugin, absolutely fantastic. As I said before, there are many ways to chop up a break, and this was just one of them. For me, it offers a kind of entry into the process without a lot of technical detail. If you have a favorite break or tips and tricks or ways that you chop up these things, please leave a comment below. I am sort of ready to learn this stuff. And also, if you like this kind of process content, a like, a subscribe, that would be really appreciated. I guess that's it for this week in the 5 Dot Loft. I'm Al Clark. We'll see you next time.